welcome to another video on the Woodsmans Finest channel. Today I just want to go over something that is also part of my hobby, so to say. Actually, it was for a while, it was a lot more, which is traditional archery. I used to build bows as well and arrows from cedar, aluminium and carbon for tournaments, as well as equipment like quivers, arm guards and other stuff you're gonna see maybe up every now and then on this channel now. Recently I came back from Japan into really beautiful autumn Austria, and yeah, I did some Kyudo in Japan, which is more of a martial art than a sport. However, it really motivated me to get back into traditional archery, and I got my setup ready again that I always shot with. So today I just want to shoot a very quick video about the very basic technique of traditional archery, because if you know what it is about, you can just pick up any cheap bow, some cheap arrows, and just have some fun out in the woods. So stay tuned. Hey folks, so before we get started, I just want to go over the setup if you're wondering what it is. This is a reflex deflex bow, or hybrid longbow. That means there is not too much of a recurve at the end. However, if you unstring that bow, it does a very strong curve. So the whole limb is basically curving, recurving. So it means the handle here has a deflex. That means it's bending towards the pulling direction, and the limbs and the ends have a reflex. That means they basically look into the shooting direction. This kind of bow design is very, very old actually. It was used in composite bows, Assyrian bows, and I think, if I'm not completely mistaken, the Egyptians had a very similar design of bow. However, it is a hybrid between recurve and longbow in modern terms, so to say, and I like it very much. It's very strong. Yeah, it's a Turkey Creek longbow. It's a discontinued bow because the boyer is not making bows anymore. However, it has 4 layers of bamboo and under glass. So I'm talking about traditional archery, and this term is a little bit controversial, so to say, because what is traditional? There's glass on this bow. Is it still traditional? And I really don't want to go over this kind of discussion today. I consider it traditional, and maybe better we call it instinctive, as long as there is no aiming help, no sights or scopes or anything like this, and you basically anchor, look at the target with both eyes open and shoot. The arrows, as I mentioned in the intro, can be from aluminum, carbon, or wood. There were fiberglass arrows as well back in the 70s, if I'm remembering right. So yeah, that's the setup. I shoot aluminum arrows. It's Eastern Legacies for the guys out there who are familiar. I like these arrows very much. They're very cheap, very reliable. Have a lot of a feeling like wood compared to carbon, I have to say. Yeah, and I like a mix between traditional and a little bit more modern look with those very visible arrows. So yeah, this bow is about 52 pounds at 28 inches, but I pull it a little bit longer, so it's about 55, 56 pounds, which is quite heavy, and I haven't shot for a while, so having a little bit of problems, or at least I'm not really used to it anymore, so to say. And yeah, when you get into traditional archery, or you want to try it, it's a very, very nice sport. You have something to do when you go outside, which is always nice. And I want to just go quickly over some basics today. As in every sport, you're building up your form, or in this case you build up the shot, and it's very important. The form is the most important, because if you have a consistent form, then you're building up some kind of memory, muscle memory for your eye and hand coordination, or hand-eye coordination, which is actually what we use in instinctive archery. So I'm pointing my whole shooting form at the target I want to hit, which is not a big target, but always a small point. I'm never shooting at the big shape. I shoot at the point, no matter what the target is. If it's a field target or a 3D animal or anything you can imagine, sometimes a tennis ball that I just throw in the field somewhere. So the form needs to be completely consistent, and then I build up this kind of hand-eye coordination, muscle memory. So when I build up the shot, the very basic form is that I'm actually standing about shoulder width apart, and I'm standing 90 degrees to the target. There is different variations of the stance. There is more open stance and etc. However, when I have like level ground and I'm just doing form, and I'm not standing in the woods where I have to adjust my stance because it's not really level or I have a lot of vegetation. When I do form, I want to stand like this. And there's different body shapes, so people have different stances, but in the beginning you just want to have a relaxed shoulder width stance that is exactly 90 degrees to the target. The next part would be that you're knocking the arrow, and I really would recommend, no matter what kind of quiver you have. I see all kind of funny knocking and searching. It's amazing what people come up with when they want to knock an arrow. When you take an arrow, you basically tilt the bow like this, hold it in front of you. You put the arrow on the shelf, or if you don't have a shelf, just put it on top of your finger, and then I wrap my index finger around like this. I take the knock, I push it through and knock the arrow. Depending on how your feathers are, I don't want to go over feathers and feather direction right now. It's just more about the basics. So I get the arrow, I put it on the shelf, I push it through and knock it. I'm ready. Okay? So the arrow is on the shelf. I knocked it, and then there's different ways of shooting. I used to shoot one finger over, two fingers under, split finger. Now I shoot three under. I never really liked it before, but I didn't find myself to be consistent with split fingers, so I shoot three fingers under. That's all I want to say about that. So the next thing is that I get my shooting hand ready, and I put whatever shooting glove you have, a tap or something. I like shooting a tap because it feels better for me. But I get my fingers ready, and I put the string in the first groove from my fingertip. Okay, not all the way down here. It's not helping with the easy release. Just put it in the first finger groove. Get it on the string, split finger or three fingers under, first finger groove. And you can touch the arrow knock, but don't squeeze it in any way, because as soon as you start pulling, you're gonna do something with your arrow. Very often you find it's gonna fall off the shelf or something. That's because of the rotation of your fingers when you pull and you're squeezing the arrow. Usually these knocks click into your string, your bowstring, so you don't have to worry about them falling. Okay, so after I got my shooting hand ready, there's different ways how you can do your form. I don't bring my bow in here like this. I leave it on my side like that. And after I got my shooting hand ready, my string hand, I get my bow hand ready. And important here is that your thumb is pointing forward to the target. So you don't wrap your hand around in any direction around the bow. And I don't want to go into consequences, but it's not good. So point your arrow like your thumb to the target, and have your bow rest in this U shape, between your index finger and your thumb. That makes sure that the pressure is evenly distributed through your arm into your shoulder, and straight, most important of all. So I have my shooting hand ready, I get my bow hand ready. Don't squeeze the bow, don't grab it too hard. Just get it in between in the U, the thumb points to the target. close your fingers very softly. That's how I do it, like you're grabbing an egg. And then you're ready for the shot. So we have the stance, the bow is ready, the arrow is ready. And now I'm gonna be looking at the target with both eyes open. That's the only way how I can judge distances and can see three-dimensionally. When I look at the target, I focus on one spot. I bring up my bow hand and don't turn to the target like this. Stay perpendicular to the target. Bring up the bow hand and imagine pointing with your left arm in this case, because I'm right-handed and my right eye is dominant. I want to pull the arrow under my right eye. So my left arm is the bow arm. I point my bow arm as good as I can instinctively into this point I want to shoot at. Okay? So I have my spot. I point at the target. And then I pull back in a rotation movement. I rotate my elbow around until my middle finger hits my mouth corner. The reason I do that is that I'm always gonna be anchoring and I'm always gonna pull the same length. If I don't do that and I anchor all over the place, or don't anchor at all and just pull, my arrow is gonna have a different energy every time. So if I miss the target too high or too low, and I want to adjust, I only can do that if the next arrow I shoot has exactly the same kinetic energy as the arrow before, because then I can adjust the direction. If the next arrow is going to be pulling somewhere and is slower or faster than the arrow before, that is adding variables to my shooting. So I want to take all the variables out of the equation, so to say. Look at the target, point the bow arm into the spot I want to shoot at, and then my arm is relaxed, only my fingers are curled. I anchor in my mouth corner and I let go. When I let go, I want to maintain my back pressure and my back tension, and I want to keep pushing my elbow back, or rather, like another very good traditional archer said, you want to have the feeling like somebody is having his hand here on your triceps and you're pushing his hand away. So he pushes against your elbow or your triceps here and you push his hand back. You want to maintain this tension even when you release. So when you release, you don't want to collapse like this. You want to keep up the pressure, push back, and then just release, and your hand is falling onto your shoulder because there is tension, the string is gone, boom. You don't want to rip down, rip up, rip away from your face. That's very basic. Push back, arrow is gone, let it sink onto your shoulder. The bow hand stays up there. So you follow through, you shoot, but and your bow hand stays up there. You don't again want to drop it or do anything with it because it's going to deflect the arrow. So that's a very basic form. Another detail, my bow is not completely upright because I feel like my bow is in my field of vision, and it's just distracting me from the target. So what I do is I don't cant it like crazy, but I cant it maybe, if this is 0 degrees, I cant it probably about 30 degrees, 25 to 30 degrees, and it's gonna just clear my vision a little bit. And I probably also hump over just a tiny bit, just a little bit of leaning, not too much, just a little bit, so my head and my upper body is just following my bow and just a little bit. So let's shoot another arrow. Let's go through it very quickly. I hope you still bear with me, guys. So I knock the arrow, get my hand ready, stance is 90 degrees to the target. My thumb is pointing at straight away from the bow, and my hand is relaxed, closed. I look at the target, my shoulders stay perpendicular, I raise the ball, point it into the spot I want to shoot at, my elbow rotates around, bam. Another one. You can see I anchor in my mouth corner with the middle finger, the tension stays up, bam, and I just drop it onto my shoulder. One more. And the fun flew. How long you anchor and how you shoot is totally up to you. Some people just touch the anchor point for a second or for a moment and let go. Other people aim for a longer anchor for a longer time. I try to anchor usually about 1 or 2 seconds, but it's really depending how until I get the feeling of this is the spot, this is the right position, and then I just kind of automatically, very relaxed, let the arrow go. So folks, I hope you had a good time watching today. If you feel like this is something you're interested in, just shoot me a little message down in the comment section, and I'm trying to get more videos coming your way. It's really beautiful right now here. The autumn colors are awesome. We moved recently to this area. It's a little bit different from the very high mountain area I used to live in. So we have a lot more leafy green here that is turning into beautiful autumn colors. And it's a wonderful time of the year to be outside. It's not too hot, it's not that cold yet. Colors are wonderful, and yeah, it just motivates me to be out here. I'm not really going outside if there's not something to do. So yeah guys, I hope you had a good time watching, and if you want to see more from me, like, please visit Woodsmans Finest on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Etsy.com, where I have my leather work and my custom spoons that I carve from green wood with axe and knife. Yeah, I hope to see you soon again, and I hope that you leave some feedback in the comment section so I can improve my videos. And I wish you a very good time outside, and I'll be back. Bye.